So I'm really excited to announce this call, having Nicole speak. I think I reached out to you, Nicole, maybe like a month or a month and a half ago, and I was like, okay, you're freaking crushing it. She has been going through One Star Diamond qualification, so she's on her way to becoming a One Star Diamond coach. She has been coaching, you might have to correct me, a little bit over a year, right? A little bit over a year, yeah. And she hit diamond just last, I think it was September, right after our diamond retreat. And she's just been balls to the wall ever since. And I think what I really appreciate about Nicole is she really hasn't waited for people on her team to like start like, you know, building their businesses. She's really just like taken it under, she's really just taking personal responsibility for her business. And whenever I talk to her or whenever I'm like, hey girl, like give me an update, like she has a freaking update. She has a freaking plan on what she's doing in her business. And it's always so refreshing. And I appreciate it so much when I have coaches that I don't have to push. And instead, like they push me. And Nicole is somebody who definitely, like, I don't say, hey, is your diamond solid? Hey, are you going to hit successful this month? Like she freaking runs with it. And so for me to have coaches of my own that like empower me and just motivate me is like the best thing ever. So I'm going to hand it over to her and I'm going to stop talking. But Nicole, let's see if I can unmute you. All right, there we go. Take it away.
Hi guys. Oh my God. I'm literally going to poop my pants. I'm so nervous. Jenny's with me and I made her go into the other room because I was like, I'm so nervous. I can't have you in this room because I would just like laugh the whole time. Anyway, do different things, just how I was able to, first of all, a little bit about my story. I'm going to jump in on it and then I'm going to talk to you guys about how to just like start scared, because we all suck when we first start, and we're all scared when we first start. So I'm going to go ahead and start with that. So I'm going to, not go all into my story because everyone has their own stories. I don't want to kind of take too much time talking about that. But I do want to say that I first signed up November of 2017 and I quit after 1 month. I quit. I got all in it. I was working my 9-to-5 job. I saw, I found Carly on Instagram. And I was like, I'm ready to do this. I want to do this. And after a month, I quit because I didn't see success after like 2 weeks. I was like, why am I not making money? Like, so I'm quitting, like I'm done with this. So I quit after a month. And then the whole entire time, it was always just planted into my brain. During this time, I was like, you know what? I fucking hate my 9-to-5 job. I decided to become a yoga teacher. I decided to manage a yoga studio thinking like, oh, this is going to be the best life ever. I'm going to be this like yogi and just living my best life, just like have positive people around me all the time. And it's just going to be amazing. So I did that. And turns out that, yes, it was amazing. Loved the job, but I didn't make jack money. I was so broke and I was managing a studio. I was working literally 7 days out of the week. Literally this time last year on Thanksgiving, I had to work. So it's kind of crazy just to think like where I am today. So anyways, I was working my I was working at the studio 7 days a week. I was teaching yoga 7-8 classes a week, super stressed out. And this whole time I was like, I love health and wellness so much. Like, how am I going to be able to sustain myself and also sustain clients? Because working at a yoga studio, look, I had to sell memberships that are $180 a month, which is fucking ridiculous. Like, I would never spend that much money on yoga, but I had to sell that being the manager and having to, hit retail goals and membership goals. So this whole time, I always had Beachbody in the back of my head, still, I like unfollowed Carly because I was so jealous. I was like, oh, she's so successful, but like, I want to be a coach, but like, I don't want to be a coach. Like, I don't have what it takes. And this whole entire time, I was just planted in my head. And one day I was like, you know what? I'm just so pissed off that like, I didn't give it my all. And I literally was like, why am I not seeing success after 2 weeks or 3 weeks? I was like, a business owner does not see success after 2 or 3 weeks. I was like, so you know what? I'm going to try this again. So 6 months later, I joined end of May of 2018. And I was like, I'm going all fucking in. And so then I hit diamond in 90 days. It was right after the leadership retreat. So that was like end of August. That is when I hit it. And then I was still working my 9-to-5. I was still working at the studio. And during this time, I was like, I felt like I need to leave the studio. I literally, like all my relationships, with my my ex-boyfriend and everybody, with my family. I just never saw them. I was like, I need to be able to live my life. I need to be able to have a good balance. This job is sucking the life out of me. I'm also not making any money. I was making $12 an hour managing a studio, which is ridiculous. And then March of this year, 2019, I got a promotion to actually be a manager. And she gave me a $1 raise. And I was like, I told the owner, I was like, that's a fucking slap in the face. You're going to give me $13 an hour to manage your studio 7 days a week. Like, fuck that. Sorry, my language. It was just, I'm still kind of annoyed about it. But I was like, you know what? No, I'm quitting and I'm doing Beachbody full time. I was like, I know that I can do this. It was all about a mindset shift, and it was all about having confidence in myself that I could take Beachbody to the next level if I just put in the time and the effort into it. And I gave myself a timeline. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go full time with Beachbody. I'm going to give myself 2 months. If I don't see progress, I'm going to get another job. So yes, I quit my job before. Like, I didn't quit my job because I was like, oh my gosh, I've like doubled my income. I replaced my income. No, I quit my job because the one I had just completely sucked, and it was sucking the life out of me. And I gave myself 2 months. I was like, let me see if I progress with Beachbody. I went all in. I remember my next day after my first day without having an actual job, I woke up at 6 in the morning, and my dad was up making coffee, and he was like, what are you doing, like, up? He was like, you should be sleeping in. I was like, no, Dad, like, the work begins now. I was like, I'm starting now. Like, if I want to make this happen for myself, like, I'm starting now. So I went all in. And then in May, so this was March of 2019. In May, we had the leadership retreat for Team Root to Rise, a diamond leadership retreat, went to Washington. And then that's kind of like where everything kind of shifted for me. I finally, it was the very first time I met the girls from Team Root to Rise, the diamond girls. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is fucking real. Like, this is why it's so important for you guys to go to events, because that makes it so real. The connections, the relationships, it makes it so cool. And I remember just thinking like, oh my God, this is literally the best job in the world. And if I don't try my ass off to make this full time, like, I'm going to regret it for the rest of my life. So that is where things started to shift for me. And that's when I was like, I realized that consistency literally was key. And if I wanted to become a 2-star or 5-star or whatever it was, if I wanted to progress, I needed to stay consistent. And guys, my business completely shifted after that retreat, because that's when I started to be consistent every single day. That is literally the secret. I know you guys have heard it day in and day out, but that is the only thing that has got me to where I am today. And so 5 months, so in May at the retreat, it took me 5 months. So not only did I build myself to diamond in 30 days, I then built my dad to diamond in I think it was 4 or 5 months. And that happened again by being consistent. So that's a little bit of my background story. I wanted to start off by saying, guys, like, be brave enough to suck at something new. We all suck when we first start, but you have to be brave enough to just start and take action. Like, it's so crucial. That beginning month, 2 months, that is when you need to take action. That is when it's so crucial. That's when, it's so easy to get in your head, but you just have to do the work. If you have goals, if you have dreams, everybody starts somewhere, right? You can't compare my story right now to where you are, right? So you just got to start scared, and you need to acknowledge the feeling that you're scared shitless. Acknowledge the feeling that you are scared, or that you're nervous, or that you feel like throwing up. Like, acknowledge it and realize that it is a valid feeling. But don't let it hinder you, guys. Don't let that feeling hinder you. Don't let that feeling keep you from starting, okay? And just, acknowledge that feeling, find that it's valid, and be okay with it, and then take action. And just know that it's not stupid to feel scared. It's not stupid to feel like you're going to want to poop your pants, because, guys, like, I feel like pooping my pants right now. I'm so nervous. It's not stupid to feel these feelings, okay? We all felt them, guys. My first transformation photo, I posted it, and I like threw my phone across the room, and I like went downstairs. I was like, I don't want anything to do with it. But I knew from following Carly, I'm going to do what she does, because she is successful and she posts transformation photos every single Sunday. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay. So like, just know that, like, I was scared. I'm still scared to post transformation photos, but I know that that is literally the secret. Like, one of my coaches was like, Nicole, like, that's the reason why I joined you, was your transformation post. So just know, again, guys, that acknowledge the feeling, whatever you're feeling, however you're scared, whether you're a brand new coach or whether you are someone pushing for 2-star or elite and you're just scared shitless, like just acknowledge that feeling and be okay with that feeling, and then take action. Don't let it run you down, because then you won't take action and you won't progress. And I always, when I am feeling scared or nervous, I'm just like, duh, of course I'm going to feel this. I've never done it. Okay. Like, of course I don't have this experience. I've never been a coach before. I've never led this huge team call before. Of course I'm going to feel like this. It's totally normal, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go and just get it done with and do the work that it takes in order for me to be successful. It's just so funny to me. Like, we let ourselves fail and face plant over and over and over again as kids. But when we're adults, we have to have literally everything figured out, everything perfect before we start. Like, why is that? And that's the reason why I quit back in November of 2017 when I was only a coach for 1 month, because I was like, I don't know anything. I have analysis paralysis. There's so many things I have to do. I need to take a break. I need to read all of the FAQs. I need to know exactly what I'm doing, and then I'll be ready to start. No. I took 6 months off, and yes, here and there I did some research. I still wasn't ready. You learn as you go. Everything is figure outable. No one has their shit together, guys. No one has their shit together. We are all learning as we go. This is why you have your coach. This is why you have a success partner, to bounce ideas off of each other and to learn from each other. So just know that it doesn't all have to be seamless. Like, things don't have to go seamlessly. You just learn as you go. So I challenge you to seriously just trust these feelings, feel these feelings, and remind yourself that right now you just don't have the confidence to be a successful coach, because you just haven't, if you're a new coach, you just haven't had that experience yet. You just don't have the tools in your toolbox yet. It doesn't mean you're not going to have them. It just means that right now you don't have those tools in your toolbox yet. You will get there. So the next thing I want to say is just upgrade your mindset. When you're about to go out, you and your girlfriends are about to have a ladies' night out, you're going to get all dressed up and you have your makeup done and you're just feeling yourself, right? You're like, oh my God, I look so hot today. I did my hair, did my makeup, I have a cute ass outfit on. All of a sudden your mood changes because you are just feeling yourself, guys. Seriously, feel yourself. When you're feeling so nervous, just be no, I got this. I'm a fucking coach. I'm working out every single day. That feeling with endorphins after you work out and you're looking in the mirror and you're like, shit, look at my freaking arms. Look at my stomach. Look at my booty. That is a feeling. Guys, you have to realize that we are this is your job. You are literally need to radiate that passion. You need to show people that you love this so much. Just stop and think, why did you decide to become a coach? Probably because it's changed your life, right? Probably because it did something to you. It helped you progress. It changed your mindset. It just changed how you felt inside and outside. And you just share authentically on your stories, on your Instagram. That is all your job. I don't know why we make it so complicated. We are literally just sharing what we love so much. So just upgrade your mindset and convince yourself that you're fucking unstoppable, because you are, and you can literally do anything that you set your mind to. And know that also, just because you're nervous, know that that's happening because you care so much about it, that it's so important to you. So know that it's okay to feel nervous, to get, put yourself out there. You are making an impact by putting yourself out there and sharing with the world, this fitness, this nutrition, this something that changed your life. Okay, so next thing I want to talk about is just taking matters into your own hands. Because guys, why can't it happen for you? Whatever your goal is, why can't it happen for you? We're always so focused on why it can't happen. Why can't we focus on why it can happen for you? For me, I wanted Diamond so badly when I joined the second time, I was like, I'm going to make this happen. And I was like, Diamond, why is Diamond such a thing? I'm it's 12 freaking people. That's not a lot of people. How many people do you know in your life? Way more than 12. I was like, I want Diamond. I'm going to make Diamond happen. Okay. So I went ahead and made Diamond happen. It became an emerald in literally 24 hours. I signed up a friend. I signed up my dad. Boom, done. And then, for 1 star after, this past, after the retreat, I was like, I want one star to happen. So I'm not going to wait for anyone, guys. I'm going to make it happen myself. Again, diamond isn't hard. If I could do it myself in my own business, if I could solidify my own diamond, I can do that with someone else. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to build my dad to diamond. And guys, also, I have working coaches and I love them to death, but they don't want to be coaches full time. We have this relationship where I'm like, I'm okay with that. I'm not going to force them to become a full-time Beachbody coach. They are in love with their full-time job. And that makes me so happy, but they're also in love with coaching as a part-time thing. So I'm not going to force them. If you force someone to become a diamond coach, if you force someone goals, like, it's not going to happen. It will happen. It might just not happen right now or when you want it. Of course, as a mentor, you want to keep helping them and reinforcing things and push them to reach those goals because, we believe in them so much that they can do this. And of course, like, diamond isn't a huge thing, but at the same time, you cannot force your coaches to do something because they will get there when they get there. And for me, I saw all my coaches, they were also close, they're close to diamond. But I was like, I want diamond right now. So I'm going to make it happen for myself. So I went ahead and built my dad to diamond. And guys, if that's what you want for yourself, you can do it. You can seriously do it. You can literally do anything you set your mind to. Like, do you realize that? You can literally do anything you set your mind to. So if you realize, like, you are literally in control of your life. If you want something, like, get after it. Just get after it because you can do it. And I always, when I'm feeling kind of like, not confident that I can do something, I always just say, like, life is rigged in my favor. Life is rigged in my favor. If I want this goal, I know it will happen. And I will give you 2 examples. Back when I was at my 9-to-5 job, I remember I was so angry. I worked at my 9-to-5 corporate job. I was doing international development. I did that for 2 years. I was so angry. I completely just changed my mood. Like, my personality completely changed. All of my friends and family were like, what is wrong with you? And I was just so mad all the time that I remember thinking, because I'm so angry about this job, like, I was like, I'm going to get either physically or mentally sick. Like, I just know it. I just felt something. And I went to work one day and it was like 9 a.m, and all of a sudden I was so dizzy out of nowhere. It was 9 a.m. and I was like, what is going on? I ended up going home early that day. The dizziness lasted for 2 months. I would wake up dizzy, went to bed, was still dizzy. I ended up going on bed rest, and I ended up having to work part-time from home because I couldn't commute. I couldn't go into DC. I couldn't do anything. I was in bed for 2 months, and it was literally the darkest period of my life. I went to all these doctors. I had to get an MRI, I had to get a CAT scan, I had to get like ears, nose, and throat doctor. I had to do all these tests. And I remember my doctor saying, like, Nicole, I think it's just anxiety. And I was like, that's crazy. Like, I'm not anxious. Like, I've never dealt with anxiety. Of course, now I'm getting anxious because I can't do anything. I can't live my life. Like, everything is like all over the place. But she was like, just take this medicine and I think it'll help you. Just take this medicine. I think it'll help you. And I was so against medicine. I was like, no, no, no. Finally, I was so desperate because I've been in bed for 2 months. I was so depressed. I was like, okay, let me take this medicine. Took it and it worked. It finally worked. And I look back, and even during that time, I look back and I'm thankful. Like, I would never, ever wish that experience upon anyone. But looking back, I'm so thankful that happened to me because it was something clicked in me. It was that kind of wake up call, like, Nicole, you hate your life right now. You hate your job. Do something about it. And that's when I decided to become a yoga teacher. That's when I decided to change my career and be in health and wellness. And then that's when I decided I think Beachbody is going to I think I should go all in on Beachbody. And so I'm so thankful that for that experience happened. So that's experience number 1. Again, life is rigged in your favor. Experience number 2 was, so as you guys know that I'm in 1-star qualifications, my first time I went through quals was in August. And for you new coaches that don't know, once you hit a qual, you have to go through 6 weeks. So you have to hold that you have to hold that rank for 6 weeks in order for you to be that rank a lifetime. So I would be a 1-star diamond coach after 6 weeks if I held that for 6 weeks. So in August, I first hit 1-star. Again, I built my dad, and I got through the 6 weeks. And Wednesday, right before Thursday, when I was finally going to be a 1-star lifetime diamond, I had 2 coaches that went inactive, and so I literally had 24 hours to sign 2 coaches up, and I was like, I can do this. Like, on week 6, like, I can fucking do this. So I spent the whole entire day, and I got 2 coaches to sign up, and I was like, yes, I'm a fucking 1-star diamond. Went to bed. I was so happy. The next morning I wake up and realized that I saw that I wasn't a 1-star, and I was like, what happened? And I realized as a 1-star diamond, you need to have 200 PV under you. I had 165. So I was 35 PV away, and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. 35 PV away, and I'm not a 1-star. Are you kidding me? And you know what? It took 10 minutes. I was sad. I was frustrated. It took 10 minutes, but I was like, you know what? No. If anything, I'm going to use this as a lesson to teach my coaches that this is what they need to do, so this doesn't happen to them. And anyways, I want to solidify my dad. So like, of course I'll do another 6 weeks. Of course I'll do another 6 rounds, right? So there we go. The following Thursday, I'm back in 6-star quals, right? I made it through week 6, which was last Thursday. And it was last Wednesday. I was like, one more day and I'm a fucking 1-star lifetime coach. Finally. Again, I had 2 coaches inactive. I was like, shoot, I have 24 hours that I need to sign 2 people up. So a girl signed up literally at 10:30 p.m. and another girl was going to sign up, and she ended up signing up at 1 a.m. So boom, 1-star quals again, back at square one. I was so frustrated, but now I'm like, you know what? This happened for a reason. Life is rigged in my favor. I'm using this as momentum. I'm using this to not stop. Like, of course, like this is going to happen. Of course, I'm going to continue to work even harder to solidify my dad. Guys, this business is so hard, but it's all about your mindset. So if you're like so bummed about it, if, anything, right? If you are like in and out of 1-star or diamond quals, or if you're trying to reach diamond, it's so hard, guys, keep going, because it is going to be worth it. You might not be there right now today, but you will be there if you just put in the work. Okay. And just remember, life is rigged in your favor. Okay. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is what really changed for me, and that is inviting. So how I was able to build myself, how I was able to build my dad to diamond, it is inviting. And all I have to say, guys, is just do the damn thing and rip the Band-Aid off. Just do it. If you do not invite every day, you don't have a business. You do not have a business. The coaches who are diamonds, the coaches who are 1-stars and above, the coaches who are successful are the coaches who are inviting day in and day out. Guys, what is the worst thing that will happen to you if you invite? Like, you're not gonna die. Like, you don't see, like, I'm not dead. Like Nicole, you don't see my tombstone saying Nicole invited 30 people a day, so she like passed away. Like, you're not going to die if you invite. Like, make sure that you invite day in and day out. It is the most important thing that you do in this business. Guys, I know there's so many things to do in this business, but if you do anything at all, it's inviting. It is inviting, and that is it. And number 2, I want to say is, just think of the women that will not benefit from our community, from our nutrition, and from our workouts. Can you think of one person, or a man, right? Can you think of one person that will not benefit from this? Probably not, guys. Probably not. Like, think about that college student that just needs a community, or think about that college student that just graduated and all of a sudden is like, how do I make friends? Think of that postpartum mom that like is going through depression probably, or think of that person that just moved into a new neighborhood and just doesn't know anyone, or think of that person that absolutely just hates themselves, right? They just hate the way they look. Their mindset is just shit. Think of that person. At the end of the day, guys, like when you decide to become a coach, it is not about you anymore. It is not about you. If you do not invite, if you do not show up, you are literally robbing that person of this opportunity. Okay. This isn't about you anymore. And that's what's so powerful about coaching. Like, just think of your life right now, like where you are today, and like, where do you think you would be without coaching? So just at the end of the day, this isn't about you. This is about other people now. When you decide to become a coach, it is not about you anymore. So you have to make sure to invite. My last tip is just take action. I always, for people that I've seen my trainings on inviting, I always say this because this is one thing that has always clicked with me. If you do anything at all, is just invite and just pick a number. Consistency is so key. Just pick a number. My number every single day that I know, my bare minimum that I can do 7 days a week, is 30 invites. 30 invites. If you are working full time and you're doing coaching part time, and you say like 10 invites a day is something that you can do do them, right? I don't want you to be someone that's working a 9-to-5 job and also doing coaching part-time. You're like, my bare minimum is going to be 50 a day. Like, that's bullshit. You probably won't be able to do 50 invites a day. Like, be real with yourself. If you think that you can do 10 invites a day every single day, like just pick a number that you can do every single day, and that will literally, you will see your business progress, because those invites are seriously going to do something for your business. And the last thing, I already said the last thing, but this is the last thing, I promise. With inviting too, I know people have kind of like inviting sucks. Like, I don't want to do inviting, like beat the frog. I have to do it in the morning because it sucks. Like, think of, if you're at a 9-to-5 job, like think of that tedious task that you absolutely hate at your job. Maybe it's sitting in a boring meeting. Maybe it's like filing paperwork. Maybe it's like talking to your boss, or like whatever that tedious task is. And then think of the tedious task for coaching. It's probably inviting. Guys, how does that even compare to your tedious task at your 9-to-5 job? Inviting. You have to connect and build relationships with people and be friends with people. Like, how is that tedious? So just switch your mindset when it comes to inviting. It's not tedious at all. Make it fun. Make it, if inviting is really just sucky for you, like, feel yourself in the moment, right? Put some jams on, maybe watch The Office in the back, whatever your jam is. Just, I don't know, just feel yourself and get yourself in the mood. If you have to have a dance party with your Energize, like before you do your invites, like do whatever you need to do in order to get your invites in. If you guys have not gotten your invites in today, like, you better get them in, because I'm telling you, that is my secret. That's literally my secret, is inviting 7 days a week and 30 people every single day. That is literally how I built myself to diamond and how I built my dad to diamond. Whew. I think that's it. I touched on a lot of really different topics. I hope that was helpful. Thankfully, I did not poop my pants, but this was really fun.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing. The chat was like blowing up. And it's okay. I still hop on these calls every now and again and feel like I'm going to poop my pants. So you're fine. You nailed it. If anybody has any questions, you can pop them in the chat box. I think there were a couple questions, but I loved how you focused on like action builds that confidence. I think so often we get so obsessed with like being organized, and like, you guys, creating a business to organize will get you organized. You can't like get organized before you build a freaking team, right? Like, build your team and then go get organized. Like, take the action and then the confidence will come, because you can't do one without the other. And I think this is such a do and then learn business that we get so obsessed with like all of these systems. And it's like, dude, like, you're not building any income. Why don't you go like make some money and then build those systems off of like this business you're actually building? So I loved how that was like just such a focal point. Okay, so a couple people asked, how do you approach sending cold invites, or can you give like an example of an invite that you sent?
Yeah. Okay. So so obviously everyone that I invite are people who follow me, are people who watch my stories, are people who like or comment on my photos. So I don't see it as a cold invite. I see it as a warm invite, a lukewarm invite, because they're seeing what I do. I'm constantly breadcrumbing in fitness, nutrition, or coaching. I'm constantly breadcrumbing in. So I always think that's like a lukewarm invite, because they're following me, so they know who I am. So how do I approach it? So there's two different ways that I do invites. The first way is called the 311 method. So this was actually on the National Wake Up Call a couple of weeks ago. So what I do is I have my brands. I go on the hashtags. I find those hashtags, right? So I'm like a rock climber, backpacker, yogi, and I find some hashtag there, and then I find someone I can relate to. I click that person's profile, and then I find 3 pictures that I can relate with. So not the first 3 pictures, because obviously like you didn't do any work. So I like actually pick 3. Like, I'm really intentional about it. I pick 3 pictures that I really like. So I like 3 photos, and then on one of those photos I comment, and I don't just comment like, oh, like so pretty, or like love. Like, no, I actually take the time to read the caption and write an intentional comment on it. And after I do that, then I go ahead and I follow them. If they follow me back, then I'll go ahead and I'll DM them and be like, hey, like, I love that post. Like, thanks so much for following me. Like, I really vibed with you, like, blah, blah, blah. And there you go. There is an there's an opportunity for a conversation right then and there. So that's the 311 method. You like 3 pictures, you comment on one, and then you follow them. The second method I do is I invite the way I like to be invited. So, so before I did Beachbody, I had a fitness Instagram, and so this is when I was switching my career over to health and wellness. I created a fitness Instagram, and I had all these Beachbody coaches inviting me, and I honestly hated the people that were like, "Oh my god, like I'm a yogi too," or like, "I love your curly hair," and then I would click on their profile and I would see that they're a Beachbody coach, and I was like, "They're about to invite me. Like I already know it. I see what you're doing." And so I hated that. I'm like, just be real with me, like just upfront, like, "Yo, Nicole, like you want to do this with me? Like let's fucking go." Like that's who I am as a person, so that's how I invite. So I mean, I wouldn't say that in that language, obviously, but I just say like, "Hey," I'm like, "Hey, I don't know, Sally, I don't know if you've been seeing what I do with my clients, but I'm actually, I'm adding people, or I'm opening up registration for my new fitness group. I don't know if it's something you might be interested in. If so, I'd love to like send you more information." Boom, done. Super simple. Yeah, and talk, like Kara said, talk to them how you actually talk. Like I don't call people like babe or like, I don't know, girly. Like that's not the way I talk. Like I call people like lady or like sister. Like that's the way I talk. So like talk, like invite people the way you would invite your best friends or your siblings or your parents. Like, because if I like talked, if I just like was just like, "Hey babe, want to do this with me?" Like my friends would be like, "Nicole, what the fuck? Like what are you doing? Like what?" So just talk the way you want to talk to or invite them to.
I don't say babe either.
Yeah.
I think another good part of that was, here's another question. So Amber said, if you're hosting a group that starts at a certain date, do you invite to that specific group prior to the start date of your group? So like if you're inviting, like, are you inviting to like a specific challenge group, or are you inviting just in general to like work out with you?
Yeah, like I constantly have a group. I constantly have a group going. So say like my group started on like the mid-month, right? And they want to join me. They join like the week after. I'll just pop them in the group. I'm like, "Hey, you're like this group started a week before, but you can still join in." And then it's fine. Yeah, I just make sure that you always have something to invite to, because if like you invite them and all of a sudden it's like, okay, like now what do I do with them? Like, and that's also really key too, or like more fun when I always host groups with a bunch of coaches, like Coach Angie and Gina. I always host groups with them every single month, because then we have way more coaches in there, or way more clients in there. It makes it way more fun, more engagement, and also less work for you. Trying to work smarter, not harder.
I love that. And yeah, having like a specific group to invite to. And that's something that you came back through this whole call. It was like, focus on your invites. And so you should always have something to invite to. Like I just launched like my December group. I shared that prep week starts December 9th. Like I'm very focused with people. I think so often we're like, or I don't know, I started November and I was like, train with me, work out with me, but it wasn't like specific to what I wanted. Like I was looking, like I wasn't saying specifically like what I really wanted. And then once I got specific, I like had this influx of interest. I was like, I'm starting round 2 of the work on November 18th. I'm looking for 10 people to do round 2 with me. Like, don't be afraid to be specific on like what you're inviting people to, because people want to know the details. If you're really just kind of like, work out with me at some point in your life, like people are going to be like, okay, like what's my next step? And I love how you invite that way too. Like, hey, you should join my group, start 10, are you interested? And the other thing that you were saying that I loved is, when people are following you, like they're in your storefront. Like look at it like this, guys. Like if somebody came into Lululemon or came into Nordstrom and you weren't approached by someone who was like, hey, like, are you looking for a certain style of pants? Like, let me know if I can help you with anything. Like, do you want me to hold your clothes and put them in a dressing room for you? Like, what are you looking for today? If someone didn't ask me that, I'd be like, wow, this store freaking sucks. I'm literally here. And no one cares. So like if people are in your store, if people are following you, if people are liking your stuff, like you need to engage with them and at least just be like, hey, thank you for following me. Thank you for supporting me. Like they're in your storefront. And so if we can visualize our social media platforms as our storefronts, like I think we'll take it so much more serious.
Yeah, they're following you for a reason.
Yeah. Anything else that you guys and I loved how you said you host it with other people too. Like when I have new coaches who are like, well, I don't know if I'm going to have anybody like join me. I'm like, dude, pair up with 10 other coaches. You each invite 3 people and all of a sudden you have a group of 35, 40 people all together. Like that's so fun. No, Toddy J. Anybody else? Last questions? Are you reading the Everything is Figure Outable? Are you reading that book right now? Because you mentioned.
No, but I'm about to.
Oh, okay.
I just ordered it.
Okay, I've been hearing such good things about that book, so maybe we can all read it together. But I love that you said that, like, everything is figure outable. Okay, that was amazing. Thank you so much. I'll get this recording up, guys, within the next 24, 48 hours. Thank you
Do your invites, guys.
Do your invites. All right, love you all. See you soon.